Cypress Financial Group presents the Retirement Roundtable Podcast with John Scallan. Get more at cypressfinancial.net. Now, let's get to the show.
Before we get started, you were telling me you just had a bit of an adventure south of the border. How was that?
Well, Mark, it was a very, very interesting adventure. My youngest son is 26 years old, and he happened to be going to Mexico City. My wife basically bribed him to taking us, and I was really impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, the cost of living there is about half. The quality of the entertainment and the dining is just over the top. We stayed in an area called Polanco. And without taking too much of this show up, I just highly recommend it. Very nice people. A lot of people speak English. The police force was everywhere. We felt very, very safe. Bentley dealerships,
Yes, sir.
Ferrari dealerships. It was quite impressive. Not the Mexico City that I thought it was like in my head.
How burned out are you right now of tequila? Like if I were to put a margarita in front of your face, would you be like, oh, son, not yet, not there yet?
Mark, that, look, 20 years ago, that would have been a valid question. I let my son and his friend Emma kind of drink all the tequila. Listen, I just hung out a little bit with some real clean Mexican and Spanish Chardonnay.
Sir.
I don't think I had a hangover one time,
My
so I did well.
John,
I did well.
You sound like an adult. You're growing up, John.
How about an old man? How about that?
But I do like the fact, and as a father as well, it used to be when your kids are younger, they would beg you to come do stuff. Daddy, watch this. Daddy, do this. Daddy, daddy, daddy. Now you're like, son, can I come with you? Hey, son, can I join you? No, it's to
the roles have reversed,
completely.
Mark, for sure.
John, let's get to it. A lot of conversation about federal employees because this week, 154,000 former federal employees missed their very first paycheck. Early retirement buyouts through Doge. For many, this is the first time in decades that direct deposit didn't hit, John.
Yeah, Mark, to say it's unsettling would be at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, picture this. Somebody's been with the government 28 years, steady paycheck. Then the buyout, it sounds attractive, so you take it. But then this week, that paycheck that's been coming like clockwork for 3 decades, it just stopped. I mean, the mortgage payment is due, the car payment is due, but the income, at least temporarily, it's gone.
So I'm sure that people maybe panic, overreact, get nervous, completely understandable in all these situations. So what are the mistakes, some of the bigger mistakes that you see adults make who are federal employees that could be in this situation?
Yeah, Mark, I had one couple a little bit older than me. They started pulling money from their government TSP, their thrift savings plans. Mark, everyone in our office has the FRC designation. We are federal retirement consultants. So we're trained. We understand not only their investments, but we understand how they work. This couple, they saw $400,000 sitting there and think they'll just pull money out for bills. But what they didn't know is one rushed decision in week 1 can cost a lot of money in penalties, and we don't want them to set up this pattern that drains accounts in the early years.
All right, so let's talk to the adults that could be in this situation, and hypothetically, what can we do?
Well, look, first of all, just breathe and get some counsel. Even the Bible says, have many wise counselors, right? Certainly you want to sync up with your spouse. But don't make any moves for a couple of days, even a week, then map it out. Listen, you've got assets, you've got TSP, you've got a pension coming. Yes, it's delayed. You may have Social Security options. I mean, the question is, how do we bridge from today to when those income sources might kick in again? Listen, I know this is painful. I know as humans we tend to think the worst. But let me tell you, if I'm a betting man, this government shutdown, it may go a bit longer. I want to acknowledge that. But to think that this thing is going to go on forever, I just don't see that. Take a breath. Look at all your assets. Listen, here's something you can do right now. Write down every income source you have coming in and when it starts, your pension date, your Social Security eligibility, any part-time work possibilities. Just seeing it all on paper can reduce the panic and help you think more clearly. And that is what you need to do right now. Think clearly and understand this is not forever.
And we're not just speaking, John, to the federal employees. The same would be true for the adults that think for whatever reason, maybe there's going to be some corporate downsizing in 2026. You have that fear that there may be a pink slip in my future. You would tell them the same thing. Take a breath. Write everything down, but most importantly, reach out to somebody that can offer some strategies.
Spot on, my friend. You need counsel. You certainly need to be synced up with your family, but get a qualified financial advisor, someone who is willing to invest in you before you pay them any money, someone that will help you lay all this out. Think a little bit clearer and just look a little further down the road than just the panic we may feel right at this moment.
And John, the number one fear in retirement, running out of money. That could create another problem. People don't want to spend their money, even when they can afford to. Do you see this, John?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen to this, Mark. A couple in their, let's say, mid-70s, right? Nearly $1 million invested between the market and fixed income investments. They've got Social Security and they've got a pension to cover all the basics. This particular couple, man, they were disciplined and frugal while they were working. Man, they kind of continued that. They're eating soup and sandwiches every night, just trying to make their money last. We talked to them really, really intimately about what they wanted to do, what their heart was saying they wanted to do. And it turned out to be travel, to enjoy life and still leave their kids a big inheritance.
So why is it so hard, John, for people to go spend their money?
Getting to retirement is all about discipline and sacrifice. But being in retirement, that's about permission, saying yes to the life that you've built. Most people, or many people, should I say, have a problem making that shift. They save until they die with millions in the bank, and they don't get to experience those things that they've always dreamed about.
So, John, someone's listening this weekend. They're in that situation. They've done a good job. They've saved their money. How do you help that person go spend their money? What do you tell them?
We review their spending annually. You know, when there's a gap between what they're actually spending and what they could spend, I would ask them hypothetically a simple question. What are you not doing that you want to do? From there, I would show them the math. I would say you didn't save all of this to have the biggest balance when you potentially hit the cemetery.
Right.
You've saved it for enjoyment. Both of these situations matter. Here's what I would suggest for you to do this week. Pick one thing you've been putting off because of money worries. Just one. Whether it's a nice dinner out, whether it's a weekend trip, then run the numbers to see if you can actually afford it. In many cases, you might be surprised.
I love that analogy, John. If you're the richest person in the cemetery, nobody cares.
Well said.
Who's going to care?
Well said.
Who are you showing off to in the cemetery right there? Wall Street keeps hitting record highs. There's a lot of people calling this a market melt up, where prices keep rising, not because of fundamentals, but because investors are just following each other a little bit higher. So could a melt up turn into a meltdown? What does that mean for somebody who's already retired?
Mark, here's what keeps me up at night for our clients. Yes, markets can go from melt up to melt down. But here's the really scary part for retirees. It's not just about if you get hit by a market pullback or potentially a crash. History has shown it's not if, it's when. I know two people who both retired in the same year with the same amount of money saved, just about. This first person had the market crash in their first year of retirement. They ran out of money at 82. This was brutal. The second person had the same amount of cash, but it happened 10 years into retirement. They still have money left today. Same investments, same income needs, completely different outcomes. The only difference, Mark, it was timing.
And you cannot predict the future when it comes to the market. There is no crystal ball, John. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. And as you said, you can't control timing, but you can control this, how you set your money up so that timing doesn't destroy you. Some of your money needs to be in buckets. That's what you're living on today. Some can ride out the storms because you won't have to touch it for 15 years. When the market pullback happens, you want to be able to say, I'm okay. I don't have to sell everything at the bottom of the market. We planned for this. We have enough money. We have enough cash on the sidelines that will not be affected by these pullbacks.
Isn't that like earning almost nothing?
Well, Mark, that's really not the case. I mean, listen, money market accounts, because of the 10-year treasury, have been at 20-year highs. Many of these high-quality money market accounts are still at 4% or higher. I mean, I meet folks all the time with 100,000, 200,000 sitting in savings accounts, earning, in some cases, less than 2%. They could certainly be getting close to 5% with almost the exact same risk profile. Here's the math. $100,000 at 3%. $3,000 a year. At 6%, that's over $6,000. Over 10 years, you had left $30,000 per year on the table. So before this week's out, do this. Look at your statements and ask yourself honestly, if the market dropped 30% tomorrow and stayed there for 3 years, what kind of situation would I be in? Would I panic? Do I have enough money? Earning a good rate? Would I have to sell investments at a loss? If the answer is yes, that's your sign. Don't wait until you're making emotional decisions in the moment. Have a plan, have a qualified financial advisor, and work through these things today while the market is on fire and you can reallocate some of these assets to your benefit.
John, we're big sports fans on this show, and it was pretty big news a couple of weeks ago that Braves GM Brian Snitker announced that 2025 was his last season with the team. Also, Bruce Bochy, he also announced that he's stepping down. But, I had the opportunity to work for the Braves for a long time. I was there for 16 years. Got a chance to know Snit, and just truly a really good guy. And I think he finally, after almost 50 years in baseball, he said, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the travel. I'm tired of the day-to-day. I'm tired of the stress. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the egos. But I'm tired of missing time with my grandkids. So he's now taking an advisory role with the team. How often do you find that people are stepping back away from the full-time work and they're kind of taking a consulting job, if you will?
Well, Mark, very, very common. I mean, longevity and the advances that we're seeing in medicine are, again, advancing at warp speed.
Yeah.
But this is a conversation we're always having. I mean, the old model was this. I'm going to work full time until 65, retire completely, never work again. For many people, that is disappearing, and truly for good reason. As I mentioned, people are healthier at 65 than previous generations. They're not ready to sit on the porch. From my perspective, to work part-time or to consult or just to be engaged in the community, it's financially brilliant. generate even $25,000 a year part-time, that's $2,000 a month plus that you are not pulling from your retirement accounts.
So does that affect, like, let's say we build this big plan together and we have a set date to retire fully, but I say, you know what, John, I think I'm going to do a part-time retirement. I think I'm going to get a consulting job, or I'm going to go do this on the side for a little bit. Does it change the planning after we put a strategy together?
Mark, absolutely. It completely changes the math. Someone making $100,000 figure that they're going to need $75,000 per year in retirement. Social Security gives $30,000. We need to find $45,000 from savings. But take on a part-time role, bringing in $25,000. Now we're only looking at $20,000 in income from the portfolio, less than half of the pressure. The money that you've accumulated just lasts so much longer.
And you talk about pressure as well, and the stress of maybe not having to be in traffic every day and not having to deal with Karen from HR every single day, and you get to test your retirement a little bit if you take this part-time role.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, going from full-time employment, like many of us in America, we're redlining at 8,000 RPMs for decades, right? You know, what part-time does, it lets you transition or ease in, work 3 days instead of 5, lets you see how this new transition is. You know, some try it and say, okay, I'm ready. Others realize that they want to keep working longer. Both are valuable, but the beauty of this strategy, it's all about you and your family. The key to this, Mark, it's being intentional. Don't drift into it. Make it strategic. Write it down. Have a plan. Talk to your spouse or your family. Talk to your financial advisor about the X's and the O's in terms of the finances. And you need help with the mechanics. Let us help, talk to you about, when do I take Social Security? How does my part-time work potentially affect my Medicare premium? If this interests you, try this. Make a list of 3 things you're good at that somehow might actually pay you for it. Maybe it's consulting in your field. Maybe it's teaching. Maybe it's coaching soccer. Write these down, then see how it changes your specific retirement picture.
Could you imagine Brian Snitker's pension? He's been in Major League Baseball for almost 50 years.
Mark, he's not worried about the money. You and I both know that. But 2 great baseball minds.
Yeah.
I guess it was really a privilege for you to work with those guys. Yes?
I did. Truly enjoyed it. Great. Don't think I'm going to come out bragging about my baseball pension or how much money I have saved, because he got paid and what I got paid, a little bit different. I'm going to have to work a little bit longer than old Brian Snicker, but a big fan of his and super proud that he's finally getting the retirement that he deserves. And if you were looking for the same thing, 504-732-1001. And John, before we hit pause for a couple seconds here, any final words before we take a quick break?
Being out of the country, as much as I enjoyed it, landing back at Louis Armstrong Airport, kind of getting back into the routine again, just really made me realize it's a big, beautiful world out there. But as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz says, there's no place like home. South Louisiana, what an incredible place. Everything that we have to offer, the culture, the food, the music, the history. But to me, it's really about the people. To live here, to work in this community, to work side by side with my, fellow citizens and friends and neighbors has truly been the honor of my 44-year career in financial services. If you need help, we are here to help you. It would be an honor. It would be a privilege to meet you and just talk about life, talk about retirement, and talk about how to make this chapter the absolute best time of your life.
investment advisory services offered through Cypress Financial Group, a registered investment advisor firm. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Cypress Financial Group, John Scallan, Louisiana Insurance License Number 1064997. The firms are separate entities. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and are not offered by Cypress Financial Group. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.